everyone, my name is Victoria. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. I'm a disabled social worker person, and today we're just gonna dance and chill. All right. Hey guys, so this is what I look like on a normal day. Actually, I'm gonna go get my headband as well. And I just wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to talk about long suffering while I make my lunch. Long suffering. Something I've been struggling with. So for context, this week, I have been struggling a lot because one of my main caregivers, who I recently hired, they told me that they would not be able to work anymore. But the kicker is they told me this also right after, unfortunately, exposing me to an illness, and they don't really test. So sorry, I'm starting to have anaphylactic symptoms because I've been exerting myself. But my caregiver basically said that they were sick that night that they came in, and then the next morning was full blown. And after that, they also told me that they won't be able to work anymore. And this is a caregiver I rely on for, my lunch, my dinner, most days. So because of that, and because they're sick, I have just been trying to do stuff on my own, and it's really, really difficult. And on top of that, it's difficult because not only am I in a wheelchair, but whenever I exert myself, I get anaphylactic symptoms, which is so absurd. And I have not been getting proper care for it. I'm on mast cell medications and stuff, but it's not doing what it needs to be doing in terms of severe reactions I get from exercise. And by exercise, I mean getting into my chair and moving around. And I have an immunologist, but she's just try vitamin D and yoga, which is I went along with it because I was okay, yeah, maybe it'll help. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun here, and maybe it'll help, and it hasn't. And I just stopped gaslighting myself for a second this past weekend and was no, you know what? I deserve proper care for this. Every time I get in my wheelchair or try to do work for too long, I should not be getting freaking anaphylactic symptoms. This is really absurd and not okay. And you wouldn't be treating a normal person who gets anaphylaxis with vitamin D. That's just not okay. And so I've just been dealing with a lot of internal stuff about really combating this sort of disposability that others put on you, and maybe not even intentionally, right, that people do it, but there's this level of disposability that disabled people have to deal with constantly, and it's very heartbreaking to feel people don't care enough about you to take certain precautions, or people don't care enough about you to treat you medically, or people don't care enough about you to insert here, you know what I mean? And I've just been dealing with that a lot, and feeling very much not undeserving, but like just grappling with self-worth a lot, and to the point where like on a Bible study call that I had, which I really appreciate having that space, but I was like just broke down crying because I was like, I'm tired. Like I'm tired from always having to prove that I am worth proper care and respect. I'm tired of exerting my boundaries when like that's always been a tough thing for me, and it takes a lot of mental fortitude to be able to do that and to not feel guilty or like you're taking up space or being unreasonable. And it's just so much of that that has been going on. And I think something that reminded me of like this feeling reminded me of is this concept of sort of like not concept but like the reality of long suffering. And by that I mean, sorry, I also have MCAS, so I can barely eat food, so I sometimes fry chicken in my air fryer using rice checks because it gives me the sensory satisfaction that I like, but I can't eat most things. I can only eat like 6 or 7 foods now. Anyway, tangent, but yeah, I have been really thinking about how people can't grasp that prolonged suffering. Even us as people who experience it sometimes struggle, but how people in our lives, in the medical system, etc., how they can't understand and thus can't necessarily fully empathize with the fact that people suffer for a long time. And without going too far into it, like our entire medical system is set up in that way, right? Our medical system is set up for people, like able-bodied people who get like a sniffle, if that. Like it's made for able-bodied people in mind, not people who have like chronic illness or like chronic diseases. And it's also apparent in like how they, well, okay, so yes, that is true. And then I was gonna say it's also like seeps into our society, right? And how people understand illness and disability, like they think it's just like either this one-off thing or like it's not fluctuating, it's like constant. It's just so bizarre how people cannot fathom that you might have something that fluctuates and you might have something that will last forever, or as long as you live, right? Like people, like at least in the Christian community, again, I'm Christian and like pretty religious, but that doesn't mean I don't have my mass, like lots of criticism about our community. But like a lot of Christians, they just believe, you know, like, oh, like God can solve this, but that's not biblical. Like that's not how God works. That's not how he goes. That's not how he approaches like suffering, right? And even with like Paul talking about, you know, like he asked God so many times to remove his suffering, like he never said that went away. Like whatever was ailing him, he never said that went away. And I think that people, like just our entire society, not just Christians, but our entire society is so bad at providing care and support for people who are gonna need it for a long time. And like with my IHSS provider, it's like, it's not her fault because like stuff comes up and like you can't provide care. And I appreciate, I guess, the honesty, but like the entire setup of our home-based care in the US is so flawed, and like it's the constant precarity that makes me the most sad and depressed at times, because it's like disabled people never feel like they have solid ground to stand on. Like something's always changing. And I was telling my friend Khadijah earlier, like I appreciate and I'm grateful for like the ability to the ability to see through the illusion of permanency, but also like the feeling of precarity is so awful that it's just all encompassing sometimes, and it feels horrible. And like our inability to grapple with long-term need and long-term need for long-term supports and long suffering is like something that is making things worse. Like if we approached care and resources with the fact that like a lot of people are going to need it for the rest of their lives, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are. And I don't know, it just lately has been making me feel really down about that. And then in addition to that, it's like dealing with people in your own life who can't understand like that you can feel great one day and not the next, or you can go months feeling decent and then the next day your loss of functioning is like exponential, right? I don't know, it makes me really sad. It makes me sad. It makes me feel helpless sometimes, because it's like, what do you even do about it? You know what I mean? Like, what can I even do as a disabled person about it other than like talk about it and share my experience with other people? Yeah, it's really rough. And then, so yeah, I've just been dealing a lot with those kinds of feelings. And sorry, I thought my caregiver was gonna wash my dishes, but I guess not. Like, what were we doing for those hours? Okay. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I'm struggling a lot, but I'm trying my best. And sometimes that's all you can do. But yeah, if you want to know more, if you want to hear more, just let me know. Just checking in with you guys. And like or subscribe to this video. If you like, follow me for more. But yeah, having a hard week. And I hope your guys' week is better than mine.